Previously on the Frontier Farmer. Now that canola has gone into the windmill at the top of the hill, and that will probably make a nice barn find for someone some point in the future. And this is going to mulch all of our canola stalks. And here is our new International 1455. Let's get hitched up to our new manure spreader. But this manure spreader has greater working width. So let's get this all cultivated. So we'll go around here, get all these stones picked up. That's the field, all nicely drilled with grass. And yeah, at some stage in the future, we are going to have to build some more sheds. And we are going to be turning field number 1 into our animal farm. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. We are in a rather rainy September, but fortunately that's not going to hinder us too much today because our plans all orientate around field number 1 and turning this into an animal farm. Now there's a couple of things that we need to do to get prepared for that, and the first thing is I've moved the honey collection area round to the back of the log cabin, and that's so we've got a bit more space here to have our farm track run. And whilst I'm building the animal farm, I'm also going to place a little bit of a fence and garden around our log cabin to separate it off from the yard and other places. And I also need to cut down these trees so I can widen the area of entry for the homestead. So I'm going to get the old chainsaw out first of all, and we can get these cut down. I need to get the skidder so we can drag them back to the log storage yard. Clear the stumps out as well. And give them a D-limb so they're easier to transport. Super. That's the 2 trees cut down. So I'm going to hop in the skidder and we can drag those out of the way. Yeah, hopefully the rain clears up slightly later. We've got cloud on the forecast, so that should make our life a lot easier later on. We'll try and winch this one in. It is the bigger of the 2. Perfect. Now we can latch on the second one and get these deposited in the log storage yard. And stash the trees away. Now we have whittled down the stocks of the wood storage yard quite a bit because I've been regularly topping up the sawmill, and so has Tim as well. And yes, we've sold quite a few more wood goods, which is fantastic, so that keeps the money rolling in. So there's nothing left for it now. I'm going to get busy creating our animal farm, and I'll see you when we're finished. And there we go. We have completed our animal farm build and also our slight touch-up and landscaping of the homestead log cabin. I think we'll start with that first as a little tour. So we have a lovely little walk-through gate here that leads to the existing gravel path that we set in. But I've extended the grass all the way around to here and developed ourselves a nice little back garden grass area. So Barkamus has a little place to run. And yeah, we've got our stores of logs and honey here. But I have maintained a gate so we can drive through and access the well and hunting pulpit if we need to. And that segregates the open garden from the homestead log cabin, which is quite handy. Now, on to the animal farm, and I'm excited to show you this. So we have a nice fence that surrounds the majority of it, and I've used two different types of wood for the fences just to give it a bit of contrast and difference. We have a lovely ranch style entrance going in, and here we have our sheep pen, and I think the wool is going to deposit here, and we can access the sheep pen I think by going up to the gate. So I think this can house a fair few sheep, and we'll obviously be getting some animals later on today. Now next is our pig pen, and I think we can access this through here, and the pigs have got a nice muddy area to thrive in. And down the end we have our cow pen. Now this is going to be for dairy cows, and I think the cows can be put in via this gate. Don't know if this opens or not, doesn't look like it. Yep, the cows will live in here, and we can give them all they need up front, and then their milk is deposited here. So there's a good amount of access around each pen where it's needed. There's another ranch style entrance through here. I might have to swap the lamps round to the other side so it appears on the outer edge, and we can access our chickens here. Now I'm going to keep the chickens nice and free range because yeah, they were placed over here initially, and I don't see the point in moving them, so we'll keep them there. And then lastly, we have a nice horse pen, and I don't think we're going to get too many horses, but we will at least get one or two, and this means that we can, you ride the horses around the homestead if we wish to. But yeah, that is the horse pen. And I have placed on this side a slight extension to our sheds, and this first shed is a modular shed. You would have seen me assembling the walls and setting the props to display. So yeah, there's a few bits and bobs in here. We've got some of our tools, drums, other bits of equipment, a drill, which is all going to be very, very handy. And the shed is quite tall at the front and shorter at the back, so we should be able to house some quite large equipment in here. Of course, we've got gates either side, a drive-through gate there, and just an individual access point here to our next shed, where we have quite a sizable and tall log shed. And yeah, this is all built of wood. I've tried to keep the materials as wood orientated as possible, because that's where all of our materials have come from in the Dark Forest. So, got two nice sheds to extend our existing yard, and that should house some of the bigger equipment like this seed drill, and also we've got our harvester, new cultivator, and the mulcher, which we need to put under cover. So we're going to hop in the International, and we'll go and grab a animal trailer from the distribution centre, and then we can head on over to the animal dealer to pick up the first of our animals. I think we'll start with the furthest corner and get some cows. So for animal trailers, we are going to get this Case Jeweler, $3,450. And it can take 2 cows, 3 pigs, 4 sheep, or 3 horses. So a nice match to our tractor and other equipment. It's only a small trailer, but that suits the homestead quite nicely. Right, let's jet off to the animal dealer and pick up some cows. It's a long old drive over here, but I think we have made it. So let's do an about turn and get the trailer lined up so we can get some cows loaded in. Okay, so we can open the cover and let's get a cow. So I think we definitely want dairy cows. So that's going to be brown Swiss and a Holstein. I think we'll probably get one kind. I don't think we've used brown Swiss before, so yeah, maybe we'll get 3 of them. And I'm going to get the most mature, so they are readily creating milk, and they're also ready to reproduce. We can get 2 of these for 3,100. There we go, cows on board, so we can close the hatch and head on back to the homestead and get them set up in their new home. And we've made it back. We can use our nice new widened entrance and enter our wonderful new animal farm. We can go through the gateway here, and the cows are down the end, and I think we'll need to orientate them into where the drop-off point is. And I'm probably going to have to cut this tree down that I've included in the fence area, because yeah, we needed a bit of space on the side of the cow pen in order to get trailers up the back like this. So yeah, it is a tight animal yard. Now what might be easier is looping around this way, although it's a bit tight, so I could extend that area if we needed to. And the cow drop-off is here. And hopefully we won't need to be dropping off and bringing any more cows. There we go, that's our 2 cows nicely in the cow shed. Can't remember how many the cow shed takes, but there's some room in there definitely for them to reproduce and make some more cows. So next are the pigs and then the sheep. Back with our pigs, and we've got 3 of them, and they are the Bentheim Black Eyed. So they are speckled, they are sort of a pink and brown colour. Right, so let's pull up to the pig shed and we can get the gate opened up and reverse it in so we can drop our pigs off. I'll open the gate and get them dropped off. There we go. Our 3 pigs are in there. Okay, sheep next. And we've got 4 sheep. And I think they are the Stein Schaff. Gate open and we can drop our Stein Schaff off. There are 4 of them. So there we go. Fantastic. Right. Get that closed, and then it's off to go get the horses. And the horses, we have got a Pinto and a Palomino. So again, a white and brown coloured one, and then a nice sandy brown coloured. So let's head on in this way, avoiding the chickens. Get our horses dropped off nicely. Cover open, and we can drop our horses off if we go back a bit further. There we go. So we've got Khan and Shiva. Fantastic. Good to have them here at the homestead. I'll move them over. And they're in their new home. Fantastic. Right, so we've got a bit of organising to do to get all the animals some water and then their various different feeds. So we'll drop the animal trailer off in one of the sheds, and then we can get started with getting them some water and all of their food. Okay, drop that off there. Now if we take a look at the animal menu, we can see what each of them need. The sheep are going to need some water and either grass or hay. So we are going to have to source some grass and hay. I think we're going to mow the field that is behind the sawmill to gather some. The pigs need quite a complicated combination. So they need water, and then they need a base food, some grain, some protein, and some root crops. So prior to today, I did activate our open garden to grow some of the ingredients that we need. So we'll gather that. Our cows need water and either grass or hay. Total mixed ration is probably something that's not going to be about in the time that we are working as a frontier farmer, so probably not been invented as a feed yet. So we're just going to give them hay to get them 80% productive, which is fine. And our horses are going to need water, a base food, which will be oats or sorghum. I don't think we have any oats, so it's going to be sorghum, and then some hay. I think what we'll do is we'll start off by giving them all some water, which we can do quite easily. And we've got a fantastic water trailer here. And I did set up a water point at the animal farm. So yeah, I think whilst we're passing through, we might as well top up the open garden with water. So that is nice and full. As you can see, we've been growing some corn, some sugar beets, and also some soybeans. And that's going to help the pigs with the various bits that they need. Right, so the water point I installed is just behind the shed here, but we are at 99%, so probably only need to come up to the sheep first of all and give them some water. There we can give them some water. They are probably going to need another batch, and I'm just learning where all of the different fill and empty points are at the various animal pens. Right, that is the sheep all full. And what I've done for convenience is I've placed a water pump at each of the pens, so it should be quite quick to refill all the animals as and when we need to. By just driving up, going to empty water, and we can quickly refill and empty to get it topped up, which is quite a handy little trick. And same for the cows, and also for the horses. And I think I'm going to have to get a second water trailer, one that's not got a dolly on the front, so it's much easier to reverse. Right, horses are full, so let's get out of here, park up, and then I think we're going to have to crack on with getting some hay prepared, because we are losing the daylight, and if we want to make hay, we are going to have to mow and ted with enough time spare. And the grass that we drilled in field number 3 has germinated and started growing, but it's nowhere near ready to mow yet, so we are going to have to mow somewhere alternate. Our soybeans in field number 4 are doing quite good, and they should hopefully be ready if not next month but the month after. So we only really have this patch of grass here to mow, and it's a bit desperate, but we need some hay for the animals, so we are going to have to come along and cut this. And to do that, I think I'm going to go and get the front mower attacher that we can put on the front of this tractor now, and that can marry up with the bat wing that goes on the rear. So this is what we need for the front, and I think we had it in red, so yeah, we're going to get that for 2100. Attaches quite nicely to the front. Superb. So let's go fetch the bat wings for the back. And then we can get mowing. Here's the bat wings for the back. Superb. So we have everything we need now. So I'm going to get stuck into mowing. And then I think I will just crack on straight away with the tedding and the windrowing. And then we can either bale or forage wagon. I think baling might be a little bit better, because then we can distribute it a bit more easily, and then it's stored in the form of bales. Let's get this unfolded. Should be able to fire it up and lower both away. Superb. So this should be quicker than when we mowed it the first time, because we only had the rear mowers. So I'm going to get cracking with this, and I'll see you when we're finished. Right, I think that is the last bale on. It has fallen off, and you must excuse the messy stacking. It is purely because when I have neatly stacked it before, it decides to explode into a million pieces, so it's just better that I make a bit of a mosh of bales, and then hopefully they'll stay in place if we quickly lash them up. There we go, so hopefully that's all going to remain, but we have mowed, headed, or windrowed and baled, so we have these lovely small conventional bales to take over to the animal farm, and potentially might place a small shed to store all these bales, because that would be probably quite handy to have, and we don't want to keep them on this trailer, A, because they're a bit of a mess, and B, because they would get wet. So let's just head on in, and we want to start with the sheep. The sheep are going to need some hay. So the sheep are full, and to be honest with you, I can probably stash some of these bales in and amongst the various animal pens just on the inside, and that should give the feed trough a bit more capacity because they will spawn in. Right, on to the next animals that need hay, and that is going to be our cows. So bale by bale of these conventional bales is actually quite easy, and it means where animals have multiple ingredients, as an example the horses, they only need 40% hay, and then the remainder is their base food, so it gives us that control to manage the ratios quite nicely. So the cows are now full, so we can just stash that bale there. Perfect. Now for our horses, I think the hay is going to go in there. This is their feeding trough, and yes, we only want to put 40% hay in, as the remainder needs to be their base food. I think one more bale should do it, and there we go. Yep, we are 40% hay or thereabouts, so the remainder needs to be base food. Okay, so I think that's hay in all the animals that need it, and wow, despite us having a small field, we netted quite a lot of hay bales, but we have chewed through all of them already. But we can park this trailer off over here, and then it's getting the various bits for the other animals. So the sheep are all sorted now. They have water and grass or hay, so they will reach 100% health and 100% productivity. The cows have their water and hay, so they are going to get to 80% productivity and hopefully 100% health. The horses will need their base food, which is going to be sorghum. So I think we will go and grab that, and then we can focus fully on the pigs. And I think for getting them the sorghum, this wheelbarrow is going to be very handy. It's quite difficult to reverse the trailers in there, especially the dolly ones. We can pull up to the silo, get sorghum. And we can cart 500 litres, so we'll fill them up and see how much they need in addition. Go horses, so let's turn in and hopefully unload this. Okay, they are certainly going to need a lot more, so I think we'll probably end up using all of the sorghum, but that's okay because we have our wheat and our barley for the chickens, so yet the sorghum can go fully to the horses. But that means we're probably going to have to drill some oats as a future crop, because I know that the horses do chew through quite a bit. Okay, so this is the last of the sorghum, so we'll have to see how much more the horses need after this. Okay, I think that's only about half of the base food they need, but they have some, so that's not too big of an issue, and hopefully we can get oats in and drilled and supply them with that. But yeah, if we can't get oats in time, then we'll probably have to purchase some horse feed elsewhere. We can leave the wheelbarrow there for now and close up the horses because they are sorted. Right, we left it till last, but we are going to have to deal with our pigs because they don't have any food currently. I've just grabbed the tractor and this trailer again. We'll keep the spare hay bales on there, but the plan is I'm going to load up all of this corn, soybean and potatoes into the trailer so we can take it over to the pigs, and then we can top up the pigs with the rest of the grain, so either wheat or barley. So that's our soybeans, our corn, and then our sugar beets. Now ironically, sugar beets is the thing that we need the least of, but that seems to grow the fastest and in the most abundance at the open garden. But not to worry, we have really a good amount to keep us well stocked, and I'm going to have to do an about turn here, because now we've put that fence in. It's a little bit tight around here, but still manageable, so that's good. And corn seems to grow in a good enough abundance as well, but soybeans is a little bit slower from the open garden. But not to worry, because we have a whole field of soybeans, field number 4, which we will be harvesting probably in a month or two's time, and that is going to give us a good amount to keep the pigs happy. And yeah, I thought that was going to primarily be a cash crop, but it seems like the pigs are going to be consuming quite a lot of that. So we'll start with the root crops and get those in. There we go, 1,000 litres. I'm hoping that's not going to be too much. Yeah, it probably looks like it's a little bit too much. Maybe it's 10% rather than 5%, but that's not a problem. Now I'll give them some corn next. And luckily corn contributes towards their base food, so we should have a good amount of that. And then the soybeans, which is the last of our open garden produce for the piggies. So we've got plenty of root crops, we're slightly lower on the protein, but we are going to be making more soybeans from the open garden and the field that we've got, field number 4. Base food, which is from the corn, we're growing more of that, so we should be able to top that up next time. So it's just grain we need now, so either wheat or barley. So we can stow the root crops on the trailer, we can top up the pigs when they next need some sugar beets. And we probably don't need to keep sugar beets growing in the open garden, because we will have plenty. And we'll hitch up to the grain trailer, get the cover off, and pick up probably wheat, because I think we had more than that than the barley. There we go, we've tipped the whole 5,329 litres, but we probably don't want to give that all to the pigs because that will take them over the ratio for their grain. So if we pull up, we hopefully will get the prompt to unload. There we go. Now I just want to feather this and unload a bit at a time so we get up to the right ratio. Yeah, gone down to 2,000 litres. And I'd say that's probably just shy of 25%, so we'll give them another sprinkle, maybe down to 2,000 exactly, or 1,900. There we go, that should be enough, and we can deposit the rest back in the silo. We can put that back in there, and that's going to keep some good stocks of wheat and barley for our chickens, because they will need a good amount of food for the year. And yeah, good thing is that we've got our latest field, field number 4, with grass in. So that's going to mean we should hopefully have a good amount of hay and grass for our animals to keep them all happy. We can cover on and detach this trailer and drive through our wonderful animal farm and take stock on how all the animals are doing. So sheep, 100% effective, that's good, and they're already creeping up in productivity. Hope to see some wool next time. Pigs, they have everything they need, but probably need a top up of base food and protein. Cows, they have enough hay, which is going to give them 80% productivity. Now I did have a silage bunker full of silage, and potentially that could go to waste because they don't take silage just as silage. That goes towards total mixed ration. So I'll have a little look and see if there's some way we can make total mixed ration to make use of the silage, and if we can't, then I'll just sell the silage. And our horses have everything, but could probably do with a top up of base food, so we need either oats or sorghum. So we'll have to grow that. But there we go, we have set up our animal farm, and I hope you agree that it's looking pretty fantastic. I think it suits the homestead very well. So I'm just going to park the old International, rather dirty looking, in the entrance, and I think we're going to call it a day. So I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't, and if you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. And of course we've got to go through our lovely new gated area to get to the homestead. Yep, all that's left to say is hope to see you again next time on the Frontier Farmer, and until then, catch you later. Cheers all. Bye bye.